This is The Rumor Report with Angela Yee on The Breakfast Club.
So listen up.
Well, Jay-Z now has a partnership with a California-based cannabis company. It's called Caliva. And what his role is, he said, anything I do, I want to do correctly and at the highest level. With all the potential in the cannabis industry, Caliva's expertise and ethos makes them the best partners for this endeavor. So he wants to increase the representation and participation of those with criminal records who aren't able to participate in that growing industry because they're prohibited from doing so.
Yeah, I feel like Hov isn't doing anything nowadays that doesn't better the culture as a whole. And when you're walking in your purpose, it will reflect in everything you do on a personal and professional level.
All right, now Aziz Ansari, in the meantime, has done a new Netflix comedy special. It's called Aziz Ansari Right Now, and he addresses the issues that he had. Remember that sexual misconduct allegation that was lodged against him?
Yeah, it was dropped, right?
I mean, it wasn't a charge.
Yeah, it wasn't a case, but she was saying that, you know, she went on a date with him, went back to his house. She was made to feel uncomfortable and do things that she wasn't comfortable with. And, you know, he did address it, and he didn't know that she didn't want to do certain things. And so here's what he had to say at the beginning of his comedy special.
I felt so many things in the last year or so. There's times I felt scared. There's times I felt humiliated. And ultimately, I just felt terrible that this person felt this way. And after a year or so, I just hoped it was a step forward. And it moved things forward for me. It made me think about a lot. I hope I become a better person. And I know this isn't the most hilarious way to begin a comedy show. But it's important to me that you know how I feel about that whole thing before we share this night together.
Refresh my memory. Didn't he bring her back to his crib?
Right.
He tried to sleep with her. She said no, so they just chilled. Correct?
I think they did engage in some type of physical activity, but it was unclear. It was like kind of a blurred line situation where she felt like she felt pressured.
But he didn't do it, and they just chilled and watched TV the rest of the night, right?
Yeah, they didn't have sex.
Hey, man, where's the joke? I need a punchline, okay?
Well, this is how he started because it is the elephant in the room, and it was something that
turn it into a joke. We come from the era where Richard Pryor can joke about, you know, giving fellatio or smoking crack, being molested. Like, come on, like, you address that in the interview if you're going to address it like that. If you're going to do that on the stage, you got to turn that into some type of punchline.
Well, I think the punchline was, I know this isn't the funniest way to start a comedy special, and
laugh.
that did break the ice.
You didn't laugh?
And
No.
it was a very...
You didn't chuckle?
I mean, it was like...
Bad way to set the mood.
It wasn't even 1 minute of him addressing it, but I guess he wanted to make sure he put it out there first, address it first, and then do your special. But what happened on that date was he did briefly perform oral sex on her, asked her to do the same thing to him, and she did it, but not for long. So that's what did end up happening. There was some type of contact.
By the way, he's only reminding people of the situation because he could have, when I did this stand-up special, it could have been funny. Everybody could have laughed and joked, and people would have been forgotten about that.
I don't think people forgot about this. It was a big deal when it happened, and a lot of people referenced it just because it wasn't a clear-cut case like he was wrong.
But I thought most people was on his side.
That's what I saw.
I think it's just hard. It's hard to say.
side.
It just brings up a discussion, basically. You know, some people felt like he pressured her and he should have been able to tell by her body language. Some people felt like, well, she could have just said no and left. You know, it just depends on how you look at it. So it's not a clear-cut case of he attacked her, something happened, but it was something that affected him, and I'm sure he wanted to address it. All right, Rihanna has now been accused of cultural appropriation, and that's because of the Harper's Bazaar China magazine cover. And she's wearing a gown. I don't know if you guys saw the picture. If you have Revolt TV, you can see it right now. But she was styled by the whole entire cast of people that styled her and dressed her and everything were all Chinese. And people were saying, why is Kim not allowed to call her brand kimono? Because it's cultural appropriation. Yet Rihanna can do ish like this. Just doesn't sit right with me. Then someone said, wait a minute, when Kendall Jenner was on the cover of a magazine with an afro, people were screaming cultural appropriation. But when Rihanna dresses up like this, nobody says anything. It's art, it's glam. So she did tag everybody that participated in the cover. And it was made for a Chinese audience by Chinese creatives.
So she can't wear anything that shows another culture that respects and
the people that styled her, the photographer, the visual editors, everybody was Chinese. And it's the cover of Harper's Bazaar China.
I'm confused with this world, man.
No energy.
I'm confused, man.
So, like, come on. So
yeah,
that means,
that I don't.
So if I put on some cowboy boots and a cowboy hat, I'm cultural appropriating.
Yes.
My God.
Well, what are you wearing? What are you wearing on the bottom?
Man, shut up.
All right. Kanye West,
with
his
you?
Yeezy brand is expected to make over $1.5
That's what my
billion
son said, sus.
in sales by year's end. He said, I am a product guy at my core. He's on the cover of Forbes right now. And he said to make products that make people feel an immense amount of joy and solve issues and problems in their life, that's the problem solving that I love to do.
I wear Yeezys. Is that not cultural appropriation? Am I
And it-
appropriating Chicago culture or Calabasas culture?
In addition to that, he also revealed that he's been working on a charitable contribution, and the twist is it's a Star Wars type of theme. What he's doing is creating replicas of Luke Skywalker's infamous home from the movie A New Hope,
Now that's cultural appropriation.
and he's going to build
up, man.
prefabricated structures with the same aesthetic, and the
How
goal is to
dare
use
he.
them as low-income housing units.
How is the Skywalkers going to feel about this?
I don't know.
Just going to take my house and turn it into something that people that aren't aliens can live in? How dare you?
All right. And moving on past that, Mariah Carey, she's saying in Cosmopolitan magazine that she is kind of a prude, and that's because of the number of sexual partners she's had. She said, I've only been with 5 people in my life, so I'm kind of a prude, honestly, compared to many others in the field. She didn't specify
What?
who those 5 people were, but
Why is she volunteering that kind of information?
I don't know.
Like, who woke up yesterday and said, you know what, I need to know how many bodies Mariah Carey has?
she said that before. Remember, she said I could count the amount of guys I've been with on one hand.
Who cares?
I don't know.
Like, why? What's the context of this conversation?
The bottle cap. She did the bottle cap challenge. I thought was pretty dope. Did you see it?
Man, if you
Yeah,
don't
I
shut
seen
up.
it.
Nah, she was pretty dope.
Envy tried to do it.
Instead of kicking it off, she did the high
wanna
nose.
go home.
And it flew right off.
All right, I'm ready to go.
That sounded
home.
awful the way.
How did we segue?
I'm
from-
Angela Yee, and that's your rumor
How
report.
did we segue from her body count to her doing the bottle cap?
I just
Oh, no.
You just told me a
thought about it.
whole bunch of useless Mariah Carey information. Nothing you said about Mariah Carey, nothing Angela said about Mariah Carey did anything for me just now.
What about what she said about herself
What'd she say?
in Cosmopolitan? She's only been with 5 people in her whole
I
life.
don't
She's
care.
kind of a prude.
I don't care. I just don't.
Hey, you want to do something for yourself? Use your own hand.
And if everybody knows who you slept with, then something is wrong.